Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, as Wales take on an incredibly depleted Australia in what is Australia's 5th match in their end-of-year tour. And I think probably in hindsight a match too far, to be honest. It was always going to be a very big ask to have 5 matches. And I suppose from a building squad depth point of view, you know, I think that they've obviously going to gain a lot from this tour. But at the end of the day, they are so sort of injury depleted that it's a very weak Australian side. And I think Wales will be looking at this as a perfect opportunity for them to really end off the Autumn Nation Series on a high and to try and really bounce back from going down to Georgia. So it's been a bit of a strange Autumn Nation Series from a Welsh perspective. They had, they got hammered by New Zealand, they then beat Argentina, then lost to Georgia, now they can play against Australia. So it's a bit of a weird one for Wales. For Australia, they've had... they've had a tough tour, I think, is the long and short of it. They have only won the one match up against Scotland, lost to Italy, lost to Ireland, obviously, and lost to France. And so they have been positives, you know. I think that they did play pretty well against France, for example, before they sort of came unstuck. But they probably should have lost to Scotland. Scotland actually missed the last 3 pointers. So it's been a pretty poor tour for Australia, and I think a lot of it's sort of identifying a lot of what's the issues around sort of Australian rugby. But those are obviously quite complex, and don't have time to go through them all now. But in terms of the two teams, we'll start with the Welsh side. And this is how they do line up. Gareth Thomas, Ken Owens, Dylan Lewis. I've been very impressed with Ken Owens so far this Autumn Nation Series. I think he's somebody that's really sort of stood up and has been counted. Adam Beard next to Alwyn Jones. Alwyn Jones back into the starting lineup, bringing a lot of experience there. The loose trio of Jack Moore, Justin Tipperick, and Tala Tau is a very dangerous one. I think Tipperick's starting to play some of it, sort of get back to his best. Tau is one of the best 8th men we've actually probably seen in the game. Thomas Williams next to Gareth Anscombe. It's a good halfback pairing. You got Rio Dyer, Alex Cuthbert as your 2 wings, Joe Hawkins, George North in the centres, Lee Halfpenny at fullback, one of my favourite players to watch, so really cool to see him there. Then off the bench, Ryan Elias, Rodri Jones, Thomas Francis, Ben Carter, Josh McLeod, Kieran Hardy, Reece Priestland, and Josh Adams. If you look at the entire team, the exciting players to look out for are something like Joe Hawkins, who actually hasn't played a lot of rugby this season, but has looked incredible when he has played. So I'm interested to see how this backline goes. You know, there's lots of exciting players. I think if Hawkins can get going, I think that he's someone that's really quite exciting for the future. But then if you look at this Australian side, it's Australian side on their last sort of reserves, really. I mean, if you look at the 23 of players who aren't available, for example, it sort of speaks volumes of how weakened this Australian side is. But Jay Slipper will captain from the front, and you do expect to see quite a big shift from him. He is someone that doesn't look for excuses. He's a very straight shooter, and I think that he'll very much sort of try and come to the party this weekend. He's next to Fainga and Alatoa. I haven't been particularly impressed with Fainga so far this tour. Discipline's been a bit too poor, and I don't think he's really brought the impact he'd like. But Alatoa, is going to have to have a big game because Notina Tupou, for example, so Sam Talakai off the bench, very inexperienced. In the second row, you've got Nick Frost, Caderon Neville. You then got Jed Holloway, Fraser McWright, and Langy Gleeson. No Valentini, no Michael Hooper. So it is a loose trio, which has got potential, but not as strong as they really like it. Jake Gordon starts as well as next to Ben Donaldson, who will get a second opportunity, first real big opportunity for him in an Australian shirt. Obviously, his first sort of experience was missing that penalty right at the end against Italy. Then Mark Nawakanatuisawasa is going to start in the 11th jersey, which means Jordan Bataille will get a start in 14. Reece Hodge comes into the side at inside centre. He's next to Len Ikitau. Tom Wright will be in the 15 jersey. Off the bench, Lachlan Lonergan, Tom Robertson, Sam Talakai, Ned Hannigan, Pete Samu, Tate McDermott, Noah Alessio, and Jock Campbell. So it's, as I said, it's an Australian side which is running on reserves. A lot of these players, I think, are young players you'd like to sort of bring into the system. A lot of them all of a sudden starting, a lot of them, being used off the bench. And yeah, I just don't think they're going to have enough this weekend. I do expect Wales to get the job done. But at the end of the day, it's international rugby. Stand up, be counted, I think, is sort of the big, for me, the big sort of thing about international rugby is you can't use excuses. If you want to sit there and think, I want to be an international player, use the opportunity and say, right, this is a depleted Australian side. We're not expected to win. Let me go out and put in a big performance and show them that I should actually be included in the sort of the senior squad. Even when all the big stars are back, I did the job. I'm actually capable. So it's a massive opportunity for a lot of these players, but it's not the best Australian squad. So let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.